Hi everybody, welcome to EDLE 5473, Supervision of Instruction. My name is Dr. Lou Sabina and I'm going to be your instructor for the class. This introductory video is going to give you an overview of what to expect in this course. Some of the things that I'm going to be speaking about in this video will have no pertinence to some of you. Some will have a lot of pertinence to others. What's important to know is that the people that take this course tend to come from EDLE and from EDLE, meaning that there is a mix of individuals that are in this class. That leads to great participation, different perspectives, because we're getting the leadership side and the curriculum side. That's why I'm very excited to teach this course. This is the first time I've taught this course for Oklahoma State, and I'm excited to bring my own twist as a former school administrator to this class. There's going to be a lot of content in this course, but I think you're going to like the material, enjoy it, and I think it's important that you see why I picked the books that I picked. I made some changes to this class. I wanted a different perspective, and I'll kind of go over that why when we're looking at the textbooks. So, most of you that are in the EDLE program know that the majority of our courses meet every other week. They are 50% online and 50% face-to-face. This course is not. This course can be used for people that are in curriculum studies, curriculum leadership. It's going to meet pretty much almost every other week. The first 2 weeks, not every other week, every week. The first 2 weeks we won't have class, we'll be doing this with videos, but 75% of the time this class meets. What this means is that half of the weeks I'm going to be teaching this class from Tulsa, and you'll watch it from a conference room in Stillwater, and the other half of the weeks I'll be teaching it from Stillwater, and you'll watch it in a conference room in Tulsa. This class goes the same pattern that the EDLE class, Leadership Theory, goes. So that class only meets 7 times. We are only going to meet face-to-face 7 times in that class. But the weeks that that class isn't meeting, this class will meet in Stillwater. So I'll meet the Leadership Theory weeks in Tulsa, and then I'll just do back-to-back teaching. When this class is meeting in Stillwater, the Leadership Theory class isn't meeting. I know that's confusing. That only pertains to you if you're in both classes. If you're somebody who's taking this class as an elective, all you need to know is that half the time I'm going to be teaching you face-to-face. The other half of the time I'll be working with the students in Tulsa, and we'll be polycomed. This makes for a challenge for me as an instructor because I'm going to be flopping between locations. The first 2 weeks I'm going to be teaching the course face-to-face, so we'll be originating from Tulsa, but I'll have updates on what you'll need to do, where you need to go as soon as the class starts. The only thing I can say is don't panic. I've evenly distributed the weeks so it's fair between Stillwater and Tulsa, because I know this class does have a higher population of Stillwater people taking the class. It's different than Leadership Theory because that is our master's program, which is based and housed in Tulsa. So just keep that in mind as we go through the coursework. So I already kind of explained this, but the one thing that I want to stress here is that you can drive out to Stillwater for this course if Leadership Theory doesn't run. You're welcome to come up and take the class face-to-face. You can take the bus. I have no problem with that. You can attend the polycom class. I have no problem with that. It's your call. The only thing that I need to stress to you is that Leadership Theory is our EDLE department specific, and if anybody wants to take it as an elective, that's fine. This class affects 2 different departments in 2 different degrees, so we have to be fair and we have to balance where it meets and who it particularly is taught to. So if you got that, then we're good to go. Some of you, this means nothing to. Others, now it'll make sense why Leadership Theory doesn't meet that much. This course is about supervision of teachers and supervision of leaders and how to conduct walkthroughs. I picked books that are the best books in the business because I want to give you exposure to different models of supervision. And that's really what we're going to be talking about in this class. So the first book is our predominant textbook in the class. This is the Glickman, Gordon, and Ross Gordon Supervision and Instructional Leadership book. This book has been adapted 8 different times. It doesn't really give a specific model of supervision, but it gives lots of suggestions. This is the primary textbook in the class, and I won't use this until week 3 of the class. I added these two textbooks into the class because I love them and I think they're very practical, down-to-earth application of supervision models. This book right here, I love. It is my favorite book on the market for this subject. If I would teach this entire class on this book, but the other book is one that kind of goes over the theory. This is a workbook piece book. It gives you the different models. It talks about what supervision looks like. It even gives you checklists so that you can do informal observations. You're going to find, if you become a principal, that one of the biggest challenges and struggles you have is the first time that you do supervision. My advice to you always is to start out with the best teacher in the building and work your way until you get a teacher that could potentially be a problem. If that occurs, then you'll have some practice and you'll have some things in your toolkit. You'll need this book for the first week of class, really for week 2, but then everything that I'm doing with the projects really is going to originate from this book. So this is the workbook piece. This is going to talk about the different models of supervision. I like this book. I picked this book because, honestly, ASCD sent it to me for free as a member, and I found that on Amazon it can cost you like $1. It's engaging teachers in classroom walkthroughs. I want to include this book because it gives you the teacher perspective of what a walkthrough is. And I think that gets overlooked in the material a lot. Because think about when all of you were teachers, or if you're currently teachers, what a walkthrough or what an observation looks like to you. Some people call them drive-bys. If somebody comes in the room, opens up the door, you never know what to expect and you're bombarded. So how can you as a teacher best prepare for a walkthrough? Well, this book will help you do that. And then you as a principal or you as a curriculum director can share that with your teachers. I read this book, I like it. Honestly, it is a very, very, very easy read. It's the type of book that you could honestly take a bath, 2 hours later you're done with it, but there's good stuff in it. And it's inexpensive too. I like it. I'm going to cover this for about 2 weeks. This one, like I said, this is my favorite book. Our first lesson will actually come from this one, and then this one is the primary book for the class. One of the things that I always like to do, if you end up having me for more classes, I'll pretty much tell you the strategy of how you should approach the books and how you should approach learning. Leadership theory, I don't want you to read the book. I like the Nordhaus book, but you don't want to read it. You want to take, there's 16 chapters in Nordhaus, and I want you to pick 2 or 3 that pertain to you as a leader and your superintendent, maybe your principal, and how they present leadership. And I want you to know those 2 or 3 chapters off by heart. The other 10 chapters, I don't really care what you do with them. The point of the Nordhaus book is to get you exposed to different leadership styles. Different approach for this class. I really want you to read the book. When I say read a chapter in here, I want you to look at what the authors are trying to say because they're giving you a lot of different perspectives that I think can help all of you and I think are going to be more beneficial to you when you're in a supervisory role. So my approach for this one is buy the book, keep the book. I mean, I'm telling you right now, best book that I've ever used. I was using this with the 2nd edition. I'd keep it, I wouldn't rent it. But I want you to read the book for this class. It's only going to help you and it's going to make the lecture stronger and it's going to make our discussion stronger. For those of you in leadership theory, don't read the book until a chapter really hits you and you say, okay, this is something I really need to know. So when are assignments due? All assignments for this course will be due on Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. I do not come into Oklahoma City, Stillwater, or Tulsa on Monday. I work from home, but I do all of my grading the next day. I try to stay up on things and don't get behind. I am driving around a lot this semester, if you couldn't tell that from what I said a few minutes ago. So look at the due dates on the syllabus. My only down day, I'm thinking, is going to be Monday and Sunday. So my goal this term really is to wake up and grade every Monday. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So try to get your assignments in. If there's an emergency, let me know. But I really want the assignments to do Sunday night. Some nights, even on Sundays, I stay up past 11:59 p.m. If there's a late night baseball game or a late night WWE pay-per-view, I tend to stay up and I'll work till 2 or 3. So having those assignments in, that lets me start grading and that helps. So I'm only going to have 5 discussion boards in this class. I do more in a lot of other classes, but this one, it's reflection oriented, but it's going to really go on the readings, and I want you to really write responses, and I want you to read everybody else's responses in this class so we can talk about them. I want these to be reflection-based, meaning that you're talking about your own experiences with supervision and walkthroughs and things like that. I'm not as worried about citations. I really want these to be targeted. They have a point. Those of you that have had me before, you know I normally do a lot more discussion boards. I'm only doing 5 in this class for a reason, and I'm only doing it because they're targeted and they have a point. There are 5 major assignments for the course, and I'm going to talk about each one of these, just to give you an idea of what to expect. So the first assignment is to find a peer-reviewed research article on supervision. I really want you to pick any article that you want from a peer-reviewed journal and write a 2 to 3 page paper on the model that's used. I want your opinions based on citations from the article and the article only. So I only want you to basically give your opinion and cite a couple of things that you liked about the article, things that you think maybe don't pertain to your organization. But I want you to look at this and really say, okay, this is a different perspective on supervision. Big kudos to anybody, and let me just say this now, if you want to do something that's international, I would love that, because that gives a different eye, kind of as we know how the state of Oklahoma works with supervision and walkthroughs. So you're going to interview an instructional supervisor, either a principal or evaluator that is working in a school district. You're going to ask them questions based on their experiences. You're going to find out what they look for in supervision. You'll generate the questions yourself, make sure they're open-ended, and you'll do transcription on them. I'll go over this in the first week that I meet with you face-to-face. I'll explain this later, but I want you to have targeted questions so that you have an idea of some of the more challenging situations that can occur when you're doing an observation. Trust me, 90% of your observations are going to go smoothly. It's the 10% that are a challenge that can be difficult. So I like this textbook, and we're going to use it. You're going to take some of the tools that are in, I believe it's chapter 3, and assess their effectiveness and their ineffectiveness in helping you actually measure student learning and student success. And obviously the driver for that success is the teacher. So it's an opinion-based, and it's based on your experiences with the instruments that are in this textbook. That's going to come midway through the course, but it's why I want you guys to have this book early on in the class. This is your priority. Purchase this book as soon as you possibly can. So the big deal in the class is the clinical supervision of a colleague. This is the one that we use for our accreditation model, and it is our big project for the class. You have to supervise a colleague and conduct the full teacher observation model with them. This is a pre-observation conference, a post-observation conference, and the actual observation. I want you to use your school district's forms. I want you to get permission to do that, and if you can, it's going to make this a heck of a lot more interesting, and you're going to get something out of it too from an organizational perspective. So the final group presentation, it's a group presentation of the acceptable models of supervision in Oklahoma. And I want us to kind of group off based on our location, whether it's Stillwater or Tulsa, but I want you to pick one of the models. Previously in this class, the requirement was you do Tulsa, Marzano, or Danielson, but I'm going to add something in here. I would love for us to explore the principal evaluation or the leadership performance matrix as well, because Oklahoma does allow these, so I would like them to be included as well. So these 5 frameworks are the ones that you can use. I'm challenging some of you, those of you in Tulsa that I know already that are in this class. I really want you to be looking at these, so maybe you guys can work together. And then we'll do the teacher framework as well. And I want you to see both sides of the spectrum. I want you to see the difference between the Marzano and Danielson model. I want you to see the TLE model. And we're going to talk about all of these throughout class as well. I think you're going to enjoy this. As I said, I want somebody to do the leader model. I have a few ideas of the people that I already want to do that. So hopefully you'll take me up on that. So once again, let me refresh this and keep saying this again. If you are an EDLE student getting alternative certification or a master's degree, here's the deal. The REMS classes will meet every week. Those are not EDLE courses. The EDLE classes are either completely online or they meet 50% of the time. After this class, the majority of the classes are 50% online. This class meets the most. So right now I'm recording a lecture. Hopefully you have your PowerPoint open as I go through it. As long as I can help you, I will. My lectures will always be available to you, and I want to help as much as I can. So the first thing that I would like you to do is introduce yourself to me in the class, and it's all that I'm assigning for you the first week. So go to the discussion board in D2L, post your introduction. If it's done by the first Sunday of the course, you're fine. If you need anything else from me, please let me know. This is going to be a great experience for all of us. I've been anxiously awaiting the opportunity to teach this class. This is on my bucket list of courses at Oklahoma State that I really want to teach. Those of you that get to know me, you'll know that org theory and finance are my passions, but I'm really interested in this, especially in the framework of Oklahoma versus what I did in my previous positions in Pennsylvania. So I'm really excited to teach this class, and I'm going to give you guys a great experience, and I'm looking forward to our first week of class. Thank you very much, and we'll talk soon.